So I know you might have clicked on this video and you might not be sure what you're getting into, but I don't actually mean plot points as in points to move a story along. I mean an actual specific system called the plot point system for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. If you're curious what that is, stay tuned. Hello friends, I'm Ted, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Immersion's Guide to Everything, a short little series where I take you through things you might have forgotten about that are typically contained in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but in 5th edition in general. But because it worked so well last time, I thought I'd take a look at this again and show you guys, hey, take a look. 73% of you, yesterday was 74%, 73% of you who've watched my videos in the past 28 days are not subscribed to the channel. I said this yesterday, and that had an amazing balloon effect of almost 1,400 subscribers in less than 24 hours. Personal goal of mine is 25K by my birthday in July. If all of you guys who do like the channel want to subscribe, which I would genuinely appreciate, we'd absolutely hit that, and I think that that would be cool. That's enough for me about the channel, though. Let's talk about plot points. So again, I'm talking about the plot point system that was covered in Chapter 9 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So let's take a look right here. So it's actually a resource and a point system that you get, and if you decide to play with this optional rule. And it's pretty unique, and honestly, the third option is something that I think a lot of you will appreciate, because for those of you who get stuck in the forever DM role, or whoever have come up with the concept of rotating characters, or rotating DMs, this may actually solve the issue for you. So, how does it work? Everybody gets a plot point. Each player starts with a plot point. During a session, a player can spend a point to cause an effect to happen. The effect depends on how you look at it, and we'll talk about those. There's 3 options. Obviously, you can make up additional options, and if you've seen any other additional options or experienced them yourself, please tell me in the comments. A player can spend no more than 1 plot point per session. You can increase the limit if you like, but the way they have it divvied up, they're suggesting only 1. And once every player at the table has spent a plot point, then you get 1 back. So there's no other way to gain additional plot points. So option 1, so remember, this is a regular game that you're playing in with your friends, and if you choose to operate plot points, they give you options on how to use it. So option 1 is what a twist, right? So everybody's got a plot point. You're playing your typical session, and you're playing in the option 1 rule. This is how it goes. A player spends a plot point to add some element to the setting or situation that the group, including you being the DM, must accept as true. For example, a player can spend a plot point and state that this is his or her character has found a secret door, an NPC appears, or a monster turns out to be a long-lost ally polymorphed into a horrid beast. A player who wants to spend a plot point in this way should take a minute to discuss his or her idea with everyone else at the table and get feedback before settling on a plot development. I know a lot of other games, specifically I know of other games that have used a similar system. I can think of the cinematic uni system of RPGs have a drama point system, where you can spend a drama point to have something happen. And the thought process behind in that particular system, and it seems like it kind of here in this option, is like, man, we're just not getting it. Something's going on. Like, the DM, the storyteller, whatever they are, they're just hammering home, we gotta do something in this room, and no one is getting it. Like, it might be a trap, it might be a puzzle, something. Maybe people can't figure out how to defeat this seemingly unkillable monster, and we are having a mental block. And more often than not, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen either in stories, the whole gazebo concept, for example, like, we're just missing something, and it might be seemingly so simple to the DM or the person creating the scenario, but we just can't figure it out, and we just want to move the story along, and we don't know what to do. So in this instance, that could be a use of this. You spend a plot point and be like, oh my god, I found a secret door that lets us get past this trap and this puzzle to move on with the dungeon. And if everybody agrees and you play it out and it makes sense, okay, we do that, we can move on. And that's kind of the idea. You're making something happen. It's a twist, right? Like they said, an NPC appears. Oh my god, oh hey, Bill's here. Oh my god, Bill, the guy who has all the magic items that we wanted to buy, he's back after we just found this dragon horde. Crazy. Or, oh my god, we can't beat this dragon. Oh my god, that was Bill polymorphed into a dragon. That's crazy. Good thing it's Bill. Everything's going to be fine. I don't know why I chose Bill as the name, but I did. Maybe it's because I'm Ted, and I want to go on an excellent adventure. Anyway, you get my point. That's the concept of the twist. It doesn't have to be necessarily something like that where you're trying to circumvent an issue, though that could be that. Or it could just be like, I just want to twist the story. And that's how you work it. So that's option one. And I think most players and most DMs could probably get behind this concept, right? We're going to give everybody basically a get out of jail free card or a way to twist the story in some way. And again, you as the person spending the plot point are determining the narrative to a degree. And as long as the players at the table and the DM agree to it and think that it would be fun, then that's what happens. Option two, the plot thickens. And I definitely know a lot of people who would like this one. So this is very different. When a player spends a plot point, the player to his or her right must add a complication to the scene. So this has almost like a very improv-y feel to it. For example, if the player who spends the plot point decides that her character has found a secret door, the player to the right might state that opening the door triggers a magical trap that teleports the party to another part of the dungeon. So this kind of adds it like, and I think this might be more for more fly by the seat of your pants improv folks or people who have been playing for a while, because the concept is this like, okay, I'm going to spend a plot point, but now the person to my right needs to come up with something that makes it harder or some sort of complication. And that can be cool in and of its own right, and that might write its own story as well. Like, okay, I'm going to spend it. Bill on my right over here, Bill's got to come up with how it tweaks it and makes it harder. And I think that could be fun. I almost, like, it's not a screw your neighbor scenario, but it could be fun on how you're going to build this to make it harder for yourselves. So we're going to do something cool, but then we're going to make it harder. And then, like, as it goes around the table, as more people spend the plot points, then, if I spend one, mine's gone. Now Bill spends his, and the guy next to him does that, and then we have to wait till it goes all the way around. So if we want to get those points back to allow it, we need to let everybody do it, and then everybody gets to come up with a complication. That one, pretty cool. And lastly, the gods must be crazy. And this, like I said, I could see being very fun for a lot of people. There is no permanent DM, and the concept of this is kind of crazy up front, but bear with me. Everyone makes a character in character creation. Everybody. So say you have a total of 5 people at the table, typically 4 players and a DM. Everybody makes a character. The person that is the DM, their character becomes an NPC who tags along with the group, remains on the sideline, whatever they want. At any time, a player can spend a plot point to become the DM. Then their character rotates to the NPC spot, and the previous DM rotates their character back into the party. That player becomes an NPC, and a play continues. It's probably not a good idea to swap roles in the middle of combat, but it can happen if your group allows time for the new DM to settle into his or her role and pick up where the previous DM left off. Using plot points in this way can make for an exciting campaign as each new DM steers the game in unexpected directions. This approach is also a great way for would-be DMs to try running a game in small, controlled doses, and I really like that concept. In a campaign that uses plot points this way, everyone should come to the table with a bit of material prepared for specific encounters in mind. A player who isn't prepared or doesn't feel like DMing can choose to not spend a plot point that session. That makes sense. For this approach to work, it's a good idea to establish some shared assumptions about the campaign so the DMs aren't duplicating efforts or trampling on each other's plans. I love this concept. And if you're like me, when you play, like my in-person game that I play every week, a lot of us are DMs not at that table. A lot of us have DM'd together, shows that are here on the channel and things you can see, but we've all DM'd at a point, and we all have a different style. And the other part of it is, 1 or 2 of us typically always get slotted in the forever DM spot. Typically it's me. So the concept of being able to play as the DM but rotate through sounds really interesting. I think I'm going to just go back to me here to just talk to you guys. But think about this, like somebody at the table maybe somebody does something goofy, wonky, screws up the entire previous DM storyline to the point where they're at like the hair pulling, I don't know what to do. And you'd be like, you know what? I'm going to spend a plot point. Don't worry. I've got this. I have an idea of how we're going to take this over. You play, I'll run. And then we go. Right? And then like maybe my storyline is so captivating for the next 3 or 4 sessions that everybody plays or I run. But then 3 sessions from now, things are getting a little hairy. Somebody goes, you know what? Plot point. I've got this. And we go in it again and we rotate. I love that concept. I love the idea of it allowing a new DM to maybe DM for a little bit, maybe a social encounter. Then they don't feel comfortable when it escalates to combat, so a DM jumps in and they rotate so somebody else goes in. They get a handle for how combat works. Then they spend a plot point maybe the next combat so they can run a combat and get an idea of like something small, not overworld changing. I love this concept. I'm actually going to pitch this to my friends for a rotating campaign that we have, that may be the concept of this plot point thing. And then I may actually pitch them the other idea of the plot point concept in the campaign and another campaign at large, because we've definitely all been in scenarios, I'm sure you guys know, I mean, I have definitely been in, where a member in the party does something stupid that leads to a TPK. It sure would have been great for someone to be able to blow a plot point to just make that go away. Because, like, you could see it coming, and like a train wreck, you can't look away, and then you have to play it out. But, man, it would have been easier if we could have just had a secret door, or so it's all a dream, whatever the concept was, to make that all go away. But let me know, have you guys ever used the plot point system in your campaign? Those are just 3 options that are presented in the DMG. Obviously, you could come up with your own other options for how you could play plot points. I mean, maybe a plot point for your game could be as simple as I spend my 1 plot point this session to add a +10 to a roll or to make my roll a natural 20. I don't know. You could make that an option. The way they've designed the plot points here are to be much more impactful to the plot, hence the name plot point. But I'm curious, have you seen it? Is there some other resource out there, third party or otherwise, that I'm unaware of that adds additional options for plot points? Let me know in the comments below. I've been trying to come up with a lot of interesting, unique concepts, especially that a lot of you new folks who are new to D&D or new to the channel specifically can learn some interesting, cool mechanics and other things for D&D, and as well as balancing this between, apparently DM's Guild stuff you guys do like, so I'll be doing more of that in the future, along with the top 10s and fixing it and all that kind of stuff. So more good stuff to come in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video very much, and I'll see you next time.